Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
All right. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We are happy to be back.
We are
here
so thrilled to be
in
back.
Tulsa.
I'm hitting the big hype button. And let me tell you why. Thank you, audience. Thank you. God bless you all here in our new studios. Folks, we have taken a couple of months off here just so that we could get into some new studio digs. And tonight is our number one first episode in our exciting new studio.
In the new studio.
Now, as you know, previously we were on the 77th floor of the Atlas Life building, but we have moved up scale.
Yes.
We are now on the 100th floor of the Williams Brother Tower, the BOK Tower, all the way up at the top.
Feels good.
Oh, it feels good. Yeah, and the elevators here work, which is, styling. So we're glad for that.
Yeah.
And Oscar, how have you been? How have you been?
Well, I've been excited to get back into it, Mr. Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shut down the show for a little while.
Well, we have to
get through the election season
Yeah,
and to move.
You got to get through that.
And I understand you were out on the campaign trail.
I was.
Eric was campaigning
about
for
a week.
Well, yeah, he was out there for Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro.
That's right. They hold the promise of this country in their hands. We could almost taste it.
But, we decided to stay off the air during the election season. Every other podcast is talking about that. You don't want to hear about
You don't want to hear
You don't want to hear about politics from us. My God.
That's the political podcasters. That's not us here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Here at Tulsa Sound Podcast, we're here for one thing and one thing only. That is to answer the musical question, what is the Tulsa Sound?
Yes, we asked the question, what is the Tulsa Sound?
So
what does that mean to you?
What does it mean to you, the listener? What does it mean to our guests? And tonight, we have a very special guest on our first night here, since we're kind of, on a course, sort of a training mission here with the new studio. Kelly Endsley is going to be with us. He's a local sound god, audio engineer.
Yes, Anna refers to him as the rock and roll wizard.
Oh, boy. And we know about Anna, so he's also a drummer and has lots of great stories and lots of great things to talk with us about. But in the meantime,
we're going to get into some unusual Oklahoma laws.
That's
Mr.
right.
Eric.
That's right. We're going to bring
and
up.
We're going to discuss a little bit of folklore on this episode.
Kind of the outlaw show, if you will.
Sure. We're going to do a segment. Yes.
We've moved on up to the big top of the tower now, and so we want to get back as soon as we can and start jumping into all this stuff. But we also want you to remember, and this is something that we never want to forget, don't forget to hit subscribe and like buttons.
Yeah.
The like and prescribe buttons.
We know it's early in the show, and we know we haven't done anything to earn your trust yet, but we will, we promise. We're bringing you the best of the Tulsa Sound music scene. What we do here is we aggregate and collate Tulsa Sound music.
We aggravate
and
people.
we aggravate Tulsa Sound music as well.
There's people that I know will agree
I ain't
with
afraid of you motherfuckers. I ain't scared of none of you motherfuckers.
Oh, he used the A word. Well, anyway. So, hey, stick around. We're going to be back in just a couple of seconds.
Kelly Endsley.
Come some short commercials. We'll be right back at the Tulsa Sound
It's time to
Podcast.
roll one up.
Roll it up. Roll
Go
them
get
up.
some snacks. It's time for the
Snack 'em
Tulsa
out.
Sound Podcast.
Snack them out.
Penis. Say penis.
Penis.
Louder.
Penis.
Give me another word for penis.
Prick.
Prick.
Peter.
Peter.
Cock.
Cock.
Rod.
Rod.
Dick.
Dick.
Prick.
Prick. We've got it.
Me.
What?
Ding
Me?
dong. Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Wine. Tool.
Juan. Right one.
Wiener.
Wiener. I don't know how
Talking
to
about
say it.
and using sexual terminology is difficult for many people because of the guilt and embarrassment from our heritage.
Okay, let's all say them, okay? Prick.
Prick.
Peter. Cock. Rod. Dick. Meat. Ding dong. Juan. Wiener. Tool. Joint.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
We are back.
Tulsa Sound
With
Podcast.
the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
And we're so glad to be back right now because we have a very special guest with us here in the studio tonight, coming in on our first night, our first tech night, when we knew there was going to be all sorts of technical problems, and boy, they have us so far. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we invited over Sound Man Superior, Kelly Endsley. Ladies and gentlemen.
Kelly Endsley's in the building.
He's in the building, thank
He's
God.
in the house.
We may need his help, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. So anyway, how are you, man?
I'm doing good.
That's
Doing
excellent.
really
All right, Kelly,
It's,
tell us who you are and what you do.
My name's Kelly Endsley. I've been running sound for 25, 30 years. Played in many bands in this town.
Yeah.
Had a big company, sold it, and joined another company in town.
Uh-huh.
So
Sound.
These
the
are sound companies,
Yeah.
right?
Audio supplier.
audio and audio. That's
Cool. So, bands that you played in, the Bad Things.
Bad Things was one of the really great bands I was in.
Yeah.
I'm currently in a band called I Forget.
I Forget. That's great. What's the name of your band? I Forget. All right.
That's what we thought. It was a pretty good name.
Yeah.
We're gonna be playing our first show on December 21st at Badass Renee's,
Oh, okay. And what's the location of that club?
31st and Sheridan.
31st and Sheridan, ladies and gentlemen.
right
So,
behind-
31st and Sheridan.
yeah.
Right behind QT.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I remember when that bar used to be called Shenanigans.
Oh.
And
yeah.
Bad Things played there several times.
No kidding.
Well, it was called that. I kind of started out playing in this town in a club called Torchy's $2.
Oh, Torchy's, of course. And Torchy's is all over the place now. There's a Torchy's Sand Springs, Torchy's Sapulpa down there by the railroad
Yep.
tracks. There's,
the
good Lord. There's
$2 was the metal bar,
Okay.
and it was always a good time. Always a good time.
I'm getting over a little bit of a death, so I'm going to have these deep coughs every once in a while. What's the genre? What kind of music do you play? What kind of music do you listen
Current band is metal.
Okay.
Double
All
kicks
right.
and everything. Big ass drum kit,
Yeah.
which I've always been synonymous with big ass drum kits.
Sure. So let me ask this question, because I've played here in Tulsa. I've played in San Francisco for years.
Oh, wow.
And Richmond, Virginia for years. And one of the things that's almost been like a constant, and of course, it's not today, but metal was always the bunch of guys that were really getting abused. The clubs that you had to pay to play, and there was hardly, it really tough to break things. And then when I moved to California and saw it's 10 times as bad out there than it is here.
I don't remember it being that bad here.
Yeah.
And there were some really good clubs. We had a really good community back then. Competition, but everybody was good, and we just made our rounds of the different clubs, and there's so many things.
Yeah, for a while, I worked with some friends of mine, Ken Kinder and Jana Jordan, and Down for Five.
I remember Down for
Yeah.
5.
And Ken passed away, like 15 or 20 years ago.
Yep.
But
I was around back in that time.
they still play, and Mike Socek is the vocalist, and so.
I used to be Rocket Science's front of house guy
Oh, okay,
for a couple of years.
cool. So you ever play Crystal Skull, man?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Oscar, you're being kind of quiet over there.
Well,
Damn
no,
it,
I
boy.
used to.
I run sound Crystal Skull.
One of the very first.
All right.
One of the very first joints I ever worked was what turned into the Crystal Skull, but it was Checkers at the time.
Checkers.
And we'd play there 3 nights a week. And I even wound up working in the kitchen there at Checkers. for a
Wasn't
while.
it a Popeye's chicken at one time?
Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't
No,
it Popeye's at night?
there was a
That was across-
Lee's
that was
chicken across the street.
Oh, Lee's chicken.
Lee's Chicken.
Isn't that the one where
Lee's
everybody
Chicken.
got killed? Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, God. After after that.
I was actually across the street running sound the night that happened.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a little too close.
Yeah, I used
for
to live in that
action.
neighborhood right behind McClure Park back then.
Yes, you
was,
did.
So Kelly is also known as the rock and roll wizard around the building. That's what Anna Poole calls him.
Anna
And
Poole.
I got to tell you, that's the best nickname I've heard in a while.
I have a lot of experience at fucking up and
So-
fixing it because I was all by myself.
Well, Kelly's being modest. He's actually one of the best engineers in the city right now. And
Well,
we're
thank you
honored to
very
have you
much.
here.
I-
We're actually honored to have you.
I enjoy what I do, even 25 years later.
What I find interesting is the real top practitioners in this town don't end up working in what I consider to be entertainment. You and I and Oscar, we work for organizations which cater to special society events and things that are just not going out and banging head. And you eventually reach a point where you can't say no to the money.
Exactly.
And I know in my case, I fell onto the industrial side of the board when it was kind of shoved under my nose and said, look, man, we're tired of hearing you gripe about not getting paid. Learn to do this. If you can, run sound for a guy talking about rocks and not fall asleep, you can make a lot of money. And I was like, well.
Well, the logical path in all this and the object of the game is to win. So as you get older, your gigs get better, theoretically. You start getting offered more money, and you start being more selective of your clients. And we've all graduated to that level. Thank God. A lot of us didn't make it. We all have a list of gentlemen's names as long as our arms that didn't make it, that are gone.
I've got a list as long as both of my arms of people that owe me money.
Well, one of the things that Scott Hutchinson said about this business is that it's for the immortals.
Yes.
And I thought he was being hyperbolic and just kind of kidding around, but he actually meant it. What he said was, Oscar, this is for the immortals. People try this and die every year. And what he meant was the music business, period.
Yes.
And there's a lot of weight to that. And the more I thought about it days later, I thought, man, he was really onto something there. This truly is for the immortals. I'm 56 and I'm an old timer. And Eric's 114 in dog years.
You know it.
Eric was actually born in the wagon of a traveling show.
My mama would dance for the money they'd throw. And Daddy, he'd do whatever he could.
I'm almost 60.
All right, yeah. So at this point in our careers, it's kind of, we've all found ourselves, working for the corporate master, which is the object of the game, kids. How long were we supposed to spend in nightclubs making $30 a night, $40 a night? How long are we supposed to listen to the same band play the same set over and over again? I mean, these are natural progressions that I want to congratulate us all for getting to this point.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, congratulate us all. Well,
Make it to the top of the pile, and then retire.
yeah.
And let somebody else start to climb all over again.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and
find
to-
that what I do is take all the money that I do doing that, and then I buy things like podcast studios, and weird,
I
crazy
just buy
hobbies.
more drums.
Yeah, well, same thing. You should see my bass amp. It's getting to be pretty stupid now because it takes like three semis to bring it over.
So, Kelly, let me ask you a question. Are you from Tulsa?
No, sir. I am from Sapulpa, Oklahoma.
Sapulpa, ladies and gentlemen,
All
Sapulpa, the unofficial home of the Tulsa Sound
that's right.
Podcast.
Grew up here, moved to Tulsa.
There.
After
Yeah, we're not here. It's there, and we're here. Anyway, go ahead. I'm old here.
And that's back when Tulsa really was quite separate from Tulsa. I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays
Oh,
the
yeah.
two towns have
There was-
blended together.
there's
But
a
there
lot
was a
blended.
time where Sapulpa, I grew up in East Tulsa. Me and Eric are both East Tulsa trash. And
Traffic circle trash,
Traffic
boy.
circle trash right here. But we got to tell you, Sapulpa was the farthest thing from our minds.
Yeah, I mean,
In fact, I had a football coach that would yell, "Pull your head out of Sapulpa, God damn it!" he meant every word of it. You know?
maybe we knew more than he knew. Well, that's interesting. Well, that's a great thing to be from here. This is one of the things that, with a lot of our guests we discuss is how musical of a place Tulsa is. And all of Northeast Oklahoma, which includes Tahlequah and Muskogee and all those other
Stillwater, Tahlequah, Norman.
There's an abundance of talents in this state.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
a good amount of it's centered in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And that's what I would tell our politicians out there. You guys, you talk about money for music for the arts. That's why we had such great musicians from here, is because there's always been really good music programs here in Oklahoma. And let's not go cheap on that. let's remember that
Music is very important.
all of us started out in one of two places, school or church, with doing our music thing.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And one way or another, we owe it to both of those organizations to say thank you for the gift that we've been given. But old Oscar over here was pointing out that we have had a number of different scenes come through town, and yeah, I didn't mean to despair anything on metal. Like I said, when I got out to San Francisco, Roger Nady had the only metal club in town, and you had to pay $400 a night to play. And we thought that was so unfair because across the street we were a stupid band and we were making like $300 and somebody was paying us. And it's like, why do they have to go through that? And a friend of mine explained there are so many metal bands that the guy can just do that. Down in Los Angeles, it wasn't quite that way.
Yeah.
Down there, it was that was their place, and so
Here in Tulsa, we had a few good clubs that would pay decent money.
yeah.
Build your own show, take the door. Yeah.
What I remember most about the metal scene in Tulsa is it always was not just a multiple band bill, but it was you were going to see 8 or 10 acts if you bought a ticket for one of these shows.
Yes.
And it
Agreed.
seemed like you guys really had to shelter amongst yourselves in order to survive. And I thought that was very smart of the metal community in Tulsa. You know, there were a handful of places that the metal bands played, but man, they were always active, and they were always, you drive by that place late at night, and bang, there'd be, 75 cars in the parking
Big
lot.
crime in the parking lot. I'll tell
And
you.
the metal thing would hop around from, I want to say, generation to generation almost, starting with Mr. Eric's younger days.
Well, that's true.
And they mixed metal with punk rock and aggressive, rap rock and these sort of
The
things.
Genesis spot was actually the twin stars of Music Sound World and Whiskers, as they rotated around each other at 2715 South Memorial and 2805 South Memorial. That whole little energy spot there, I know that, at the store, we really held up a lot of guys. I sold drums there for quite a few years, and so,
I bought a lot of sound equipment in there.
well, you probably did. I had eventually, somehow or another, I used to play drums as a little kid, so I understood the hardware, but I don't consider myself a drummer, so I would not want to sit back there and practice strokes. And, so
Yeah, I didn't either.
So Randy was like, I want you back there because you won't bang on anything. And Judge
I miss
Porter
him.
banged around. Yeah, I do too. We were just on 2 episodes ago. We talked about Randy and Jim King both, and oh, God bless him. Now you're making me cry. But anyway, the whole Whiskers scene was incredible because that club was cranking the acts out,
Yeah, they were.
and a lot of big people back when they were little people played through there. And then there was another place for a while at 11th and Garnett called Rock Palace. It's now Walgreens, but Rock Palace was wild. I saw
That was also
Shots
Hustle.
Bar. Yeah, the Hustle.
Sam's Hustle.
Shots.
A bunch of other names.
Yes,
Like,
it was
every
several
bar in
things.
this town has had multiple names over the decades.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just,
Well, there's
keep it
two
creative and
great
new.
ideas that people on cocaine tend to have.
oh, yeah.
One of those is, let's start a band. The other idea people on cocaine tend to have is,
start a bar.
let's open a bar.
Oh,
And so you see this repeated
Little Leon
over
gave you a dirty
and
look.
over and over and over again, over and over.
and over again.
And that's how it goes. I remember a music store called Music City West.
Yep.
And it was kind of a heavy metal hub.
I knew just about everybody that worked there.
Yeah, those guys would rehearse back there,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was like
Donnie, Adrian worked there for a while. Adrian Alexander, drummer, keyboardist, artist, bunch of other people. God, I can't think of their names.
yeah. I mean, it was a real hub of
Yeah.
activity. I mean, it was just and they would do like Saturday jams and stuff like that. I remember several people some of the guys that used to work at the Canes would be involved with the stuff going on in Music City West, and
Exactly.
we kept up with them through those guys. Because our heads were in the East Side music stores.
That's right.
Because that was our life. You know,
Roy
so
and
we lived.
Candies.
But there was always,
2140 South Memorial.
you know, there was always a real active participation scene. I do remember at the Music City West. Man, we could sit here tonight and tell stories about just running sound on a multi-band metal gig and the things that actually involves. And the things, and I know Eric has some stories. Eric, what's something interesting that happened on a multiple band metal show that you were running sound on?
I think the most challenging one was running sound for an all-female metal band from Japan that spoke no English at all, and their manager was a little kind of a Mr. Miyagi guy.
I have a similar story.
Yeah, and they were truly mind blown, and they were playing up in Legacy Hall on that
Okay.
weird stage up there. But we had video on the full sidewalls. So when those girls got up there on stage and just running through sound check, and Zach started pushing cameras, and they saw themselves out on a wall, and they almost stopped playing. And I don't know, maybe we could never get the full background because there was a communication problem, but boy, they brought it down. And you're standing back there at the board going, my God, but they've probably been playing it since they were little bitty kids. Yep. And
Yeah, they start young there.
Yeah. And that was at Tokyo and Tulsa one year, and it wasn't a multiple gig, and thank goodness, because I don't think we could have handled more than that one band that night.
Now, I know Kelly's got some stories about multiple band
We
bills.
walked those subs, man. We walked
yeah.
those subs right out from the pit.
I did a couple of shows in there and did that same exact thing.
Yeah.
Walk the subs out from under that ledge.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
hard.
why
Pretty
there's
hard
tie-down
hardcore.
nooks in there now. You can crank ratchets down on them because and then on the rave night too, we'd walk them.
Going back to Torchy's Two Bug days. My band, Bad Things, Sean Sanders' band, Bag Eyes.
Yes, I remember those
And
guys.
a couple of out-of-town bands played there one night, and the show got stopped early because there was gunshots in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's Tulsa.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to stop.
That's Tulsa.
Another really cool story. My band, Bad Things, we were opening up for a band called Rhino Bucket. That's in that band at that time was Simon Wright, drummer from AC/DC and a bunch of other bands. One of the guys from Kix.
Okay.
A couple, I can't remember, George from Kix, a couple other guys, and they were a national touring act. So we got to play them there in Torchy's. We did another good big show with them at the Other Side Club.
Okay.
I was front of house or contractor supplier for that room for a long time. And we did another show with them in Kansas City.
Cool. Yeah, that's great when you get to.
And Simon played my drum kit all three shows.
And you replaced the heads on all three shows.
Yes, because he was a hard-hitting son of a bitch.
I'm
and, he,
sure of it.
and he was a short guy.
Yeah.
He would just beat the crap out of my kit, and I just loved every second of it. Like, yes,
I'm sure.
Simon Wright was playing my drums.
Yeah, man. I think one of the coolest moments I ever had in my life, I got to literally sit at my soundboard as close as I am to you to Stuart Copeland as he played. We was at a polo farm in Dallas, and we were doing a dinner, and he was one of the guests. He's a polo guy. And they said, oh, get up there and play, get up there and play. And he did. And, of course, he just beat the crap out of this guy's drum set because he could. But
yes.
because of where we were
Well,
set up on a horse barn and with all these nice, wealthy folks sitting around, I had to set up basically right behind the drummer.
Oh,
and
my.
The aura coming off this guy, and I mean, he whips.
Yes.
And when he
He has
gets
a
to
really
the top
awesome
of his
technique.
stroke, you can hear this off his arm. As his arm comes down, it makes a noise. And I was just like, oh, so this is why I'll never be a real rock star, because this is a real rock star, you know. Yeah. And he got up there and just destroyed this guy's drum heads. And he's like, hey, thanks, man. And he goes to the hand of the guy, his drumstick just drops him and walks off. Stuart Copeland, The Police, ladies and gentlemen.
IDL Ballroom days.
IDL Ballroom. Yeah, we had a club system right around the corner at the Blue Dome Diner.
Okay.
During
Yeah.
those days.
Okay.
Me and Eric had a system in there.
Tom Green contracted me to do all the hair metal stuff that was going
Oh,
on.
Wait,
there.
man.
Tom
Doug
Green's that guy on that commercial.
Him and Doug Burgess, DB concerts.
Yes.
And got to run sound for my idols, or some of my idols there. Don Dokken.
Yeah.
Oh, all
Dokken.
right.
Well, that version of Dokken. Got to meet Mick Brown.
Yeah.
That guy was fantastic.
Nice.
Don Dokken, not so much.
Oh, well.
Well, he's got a reputation. I remember
And he
seeing him in
earned every
'87. I saw him at
fucking
the
bit of it.
convention. I saw him at the convention center. They opened for Aerosmith. Dokken opened for Aerosmith. And his video was big that summer. It was everywhere. It was all over. Of course, MTV used to play music videos back then. And
The real MTV days.
I remember we all laughed when he got out on stage because he had a gut that he didn't have in the music videos. He was all yoked, and jacked in the music videos. He got out on stage, and there was that beer gut, and he'd been eating chocolate cake or whatever. I mean, the guy was
Dude,
huge.
you're not going to see Glenn Danzig looking like that with the gut, man.
Oh yeah, no, I saw it.
Yeah, he's definitely fat.
Yeah, but he put on a heck of a show. I mean, it was a great show, and Aerosmith did great. That's back when we used to book big rock shows at the Tulsa Convention Center. And
Well, it's a ballroom now. What do you want? There is always the BOK Center in downtown Tulsa.
this is true.
and,
this is true.
Buddy, so there it is. Well, hey, folks, we're going to take a real short break so that we can get something to drink and sneeze and cough all this junk out of our lungs.
Hey, Mr. Rubin. No. What's it called? Oh, thank you. Play the thank you. Play the thank you video.
Thank you.
Reuben?
Thank you, Paul, or thank you, Tom. whatever.
Okay, so we'd like to go to a video now that's a part of our DEI program. You saw a little bit of that earlier with the penis teacher. And so this is another part of our Tulsa Sound Podcast DEI training. So after this is over, we need you to get on your phone and go to the app and click in that you've watched it. Okay. All right. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We're right back.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Kelly.
Right back.
I'll just bring Paul over here. We had the Adam's apple. The hand makes a circle and chops into that brainstem. That's a knockout point. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you,
I
Paul.
come right in and attack the Adam's apple. Thank you, Paul.
Thank
so
you,
you poke from here right into the eye. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
I hit him, comes flying back. If I miss, into there. Thank you, Paul. As you can see, there's a lot of force. Thank you, Paul. And we're squeezing hard behind the windpipe. Thank you, Paul. I follow through with the strike. Thank you, Paul. Wham, like that. Thank you, Paul. Kick, like that. Thank you, Paul. Coming right down on the skull. Thank you very much, Paul. 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 Out of that circle.
By following McSweeney's self-defense, you're going to be able to maintain a strong, healthy body and to protect it throughout your entire lifespan, or until you become disabled or fragile and weak.
Rolling. All right. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
We're back at the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Thanking Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Boy, I feel more DEI right now just having seen that incredible video. Who knew all the different ways that you could greet somebody when they come to work in the morning? It's like I like the Adam's apple punch. Thank you, Paul. Okay. Folks, we're back. And what we're going to do now is one of our favorite little segments that we've done in the past. It's called Sign Into Your Computer. And once we've got that done, look, we've got that done.
Yeah, we've got some stuff.
It's Bandito night here. It's Outlaw night.
That's right.
At the Tulsa Sound Podcast. And because of that, we've got some very special Oklahoma outlaw stories for you here.
A little bit of folklore.
A little bit of folklore, and Oscar's going to share these with us, and then we're going to have like what are those videos called when you listen to something and then you're like,
I don't know.
it's a way to get around the YouTube rule. What is it again?
Oh, I don't know.
An expression video, like you're going to read this.
Oh, a reaction.
Oh, reaction video.
Reaction.
That's it. See?
Well, kind of.
Okay, so here I'm going to react.
Okay, so here we have, and Kelly, feel free to chime in on this.
Chime right in here, Kelly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
part of the panel tonight.
Oklahoma has
Little Leon's here too. Go ahead.
Oklahoma has a rich history of folklore involving outlaws and musicians. And here are 5 examples.
It's
We're
just
just going to
five.
talk about
Just
5 of them.
five
So
of them.
Jesse James, one of the most famous outlaws,
Yeah.
Jesse James is rumored to have hidden out in Oklahoma during his notorious criminal career.
No kidding.
The legend says that he buried treasures across the state, sparking ongoing treasure hunts and stories of hidden loot.
You mean to tell me that there is still some Jesse James loot out there?
That is what they believe, and they believe that he lived until his 80s.
We could score that loot somehow if we could find him and talk to him about it, you think?
Well, no, I was thinking of William Bonney. Lived until his 80s. Pretty. This was
Jesse James. Yeah,
right.
Jesse James.
So
but-
the treasure's out there, guys.
But he was here in Oklahoma.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Was that called the territories back then?
It was.
Like
we
in
were,
Gunsmoke?
We were the territory.
That was the territory.
You ever notice how fast Marshall Dillon can ride to Mexico? He's like, I'll be back, and then like 3 days later, he's like, oh, Matt, you're back from Mexico. Shit, man, it takes you 3 days to drive down there. What are they talking about a guy on a horse? Come on, it would take
Well,
at
Mexico probably extended to Fort Worth back then.
Arriba. Well, but it's, yeah, okay. All right, Mr. Imperials. Okay, well, that's interesting. So we could get out there and get your metal detectors, get out there, go out to Lake Eufaula, and look for the treasure of Jesse James. Look for that treasure.
So, Kelly, do you know who the outlaw Charles Arthur was?
No, I do not.
Okay, so Charles Arthur was Pretty Boy Floyd.
Okay.
That was his real name.
He
Pretty
was,
Boy Floyd, otherwise known as Charles Arthur.
AKA.
Yes, was a notorious bank robber from the 1930s. Folktales often depicted him as a Robin Hood-like figure, and he was known to destroy mortgage documents, helping to alleviate the farmers' debts during the Great Depression. His charismatic nature led to many stories that paint him in a somewhat heroic light.
Well, I think our audience loves Pretty Boy Floyd.
I think Oklahoma loves Pretty Boy Floyd.
And
I really do.
When I think of
we all love a good villain.
well,
So let's talk about the word mortgage.
mortgage. What about the word mortgage?
Well, the mortgage is the death contract, mortgage.
A mortgage. Well, you
So
know,
it's your death contract.
if you're going to buy a house, you kind of got to do it unless you got cash. If you got cash, you got cocaine, and in that case, you're going to open a bar.
Yeah.
In which
So
case,
one of
you're
the
going
things that
to
Pretty-
live in an apartment somewhere.
One of the things that Pretty Boy Floyd was known to do was to steal your deed back from the bank
Oh,
and then bring it to you and tear it up.
that son of a gun.
And for that, he was beloved by the people.
But kind of like Al Capone.
Did he do that?
Well, no, but he was beloved by the people.
He was, and then
Well,
he died of syphilis.
Well, everybody does, don't they? Come on, after all. It's a fact. It's a fact. I'm dying.
Well, let's not neglect our female outlaws.
Inside of my brain looks like a walnut that the meaty part's gone from.
You know, we had female outlaws too, Mr.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
And the name that comes to mind is Belle Starr.
Belle Starr.
Also
Belle
known,
Starr.
She was also known as the Bandit Queen.
I heard she was a handsome woman.
Belle Starr was an outlaw who lived in the Oklahoma Indian Territory, known as Oklahoma. Legends often romanticize her life as a female outlaw who defied social norms of the time.
Oh boy.
Associating with Jesse James and the Younger Gang.
Well, you know who's another lady criminal that is known not just to Oklahoma, but my old neighborhood of Central Park. That's right, I'm talking about Ma Barker. Ma Barker and the boys.
Does she live in that
Oh,
neighborhood?
absolutely they did. You know the house where a local hero used to live?
Sure.
Over there behind Central Park? 2 doors down from them was the Ma Barker house.
I'll be dang.
Yeah, and they lived there, and actually during their time, the boys had jobs here. It was one of those times when they were laying low. However, they were still running a gang over in West Tulsa.
Well, I would hope so.
What would you expect? You know,
Well, Belle Starr spent a lot of time in Sallisaw and Fort Smith, and she's very well known in that area.
yeah, she hanging down there in the robbers' caves.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of far from Fort Smith and Sallisaw, but
Well, it's
You know.
down on that
it's down there.
Kansas City Southern line.
So Woody Guthrie.
Was he a criminal or an outlaw?
No. Now he was just
he's
a musician.
from the
and here's
musician list. Okay.
Right. But he was run out of town
Oh.
for stealing a loaf of bread back in his younger days.
He should be lucky he's not in France, because you know what they do to you there. You go into jail for a long time, and then you get out, and you end up like knocking out the guy that put you in jail, and then they write a musical about you.
Okay.
But you don't get paid for it. 'Cause
So
you're dead.
Woody Guthrie, the acclaimed folk musician from Okemah, Oklahoma,
Uh-huh.
is as much of a folk hero as he is a real historical figure. Guthrie's songs, filled with social commentary and stories of the common man, have become a part of the American folklore, not just
That's right.
Oklahoma folklore.
He's got his own museum.
Tales
and
of his
everything.
travels and the ways that he captured the spirit of the Dust Bowl era are legendary in Oklahoma.
Well, and he was also a big one on the rights of workers everywhere.
Absolutely.
He was known in his time as a unionist, which they supported union labor, and
yes, he did.
it was a big thing. It was a much bigger thing now than it is now, because of the fact that there was a lot of folks that were they were working themselves to death, and they had nothing to show for it.
Yeah, a lot like the last 3 years.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So here in Oklahoma, have you guys heard of the ghost of Tom Dooley?
Oh, it's a video guy's timing for you, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys heard of the ghost of Tom Dooley?
Now, you told me this the other day. I got some discussion. You go ahead and read this.
The ghost of Tom Dooley. While Tom Dooley's story originated in North Carolina, the legend found a cultural foothold in Oklahoma through the music of Native American, musician, not Native American, Native musician, Doc Watson, and others who popularized the ballad.
I didn't know Doc Watson was a Native American.
No, not Native American, just native to Oklahoma.
Oh, a native Oklahoma.
The song
okay.
and the tale have been absorbed into the folk culture, becoming part of the musical legacy that points to Oklahoma's rich storytelling tradition.
Now, this is the same Dooley who's sneaking up a holler. The same
This is
Dooley
the
is
same-
trying to make $1.
Tom
Same Dooley, but
is-
we're going to get a swaller and pay you back someday.
Well, he stabbed her on top of the mountain. Also.
Oh, different Dooley. I was talking about old
Yeah.
Dooley.
So
I'm sorry,
the
I'm
legend
out.
of Tom Dooley
out.
was introduced to me by the Kingston Trio.
Okay.
And we had a stack of folk
A
records.
reggae band?
No, the Kingston Trio.
Yeah,
but
from
they were-
Kingston, Jamaica. Yeah. No.
They were a
Different
folk
bunch, I
trio in
guess.
the
I don't
60s, a very, very popular folk trio. But they had this song called Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley.
Oh, that Tom Dooley.
Right.
Hang down your head, Tom.
Dooley, hang down your head and
Hold
cry.
it. We can't say any more because we're going to get hit.
Copyright.
Copyright.
strike,
Little Leon
motherfuckers.
won't let it happen.
But it was a scary song, and I can remember being in like 3rd and 4th grade and listening to this folk song. And Tom Dooley just kills her. He invites her up to the mountain, and he
then
takes her life.
He gives her the Adam's apple chop.
No, in the song he says, "There I took her life, met her on the mountain, stabbed her with my knife."
Ooh,
Whoa!
man.
And so,
Hey, Joe, where you going to run to now?
exactly. So Tom Dooley, even though the legend was created in the Carolinas, has made its way into Oklahoma folklore through guys like Doc Watson.
Well, that makes sense because we do have a bunch of women stabbing, knife loving guys here in Oklahoma.
Yes, we did.
That's what I've heard.
But yeah,
What would I know? I don't know.
I mean, this was like a song they'd play for all the kids after school. Sit down.
That's because it was public domain and they wouldn't get a YouTube hit.
Not then. This was
They
in the
wouldn't get a-
70s.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't get a copyright hit on it then either. It was old. It was
I
old.
remember that being played in my grade school.
Yeah, it's kind of a dark song. In fact, if you think about it, folk songs and bluegrass are all dark.
Very dark.
Very, very dark.
Very
Kind of like
dark.
an opera where somebody dies in the second
Well,
act,
you
no
know,
matter what.
It was really funny. He was singing that song on our episode the other night about the Johnstown Flood. And
yeah.
I just recently watched a documentary on that. It's like, wow. You're right, Oscar. That music is just filled with terrible messages. Why? We should get a petition together and get this out of our children. What about our children? Okay, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Your parents.
Well, this is just
not
an
dark
example of a few Oklahoma folklore.
Oklahoma folklore. Well, we learned something there, Oscar. And that is, if you're a musician or an outlaw, Oklahoma is the place to be. And here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast, we don't want to say that we approve of the outlaw or the musician lifestyle. However, we do practice it. So be careful not to practice what you pitch. You may get hit back in the face. But anyway, so yeah, well, that's an exciting segment, Oscar. Thank you.
Exciting, but I have some questions for Kelly since we're here.
Okay, well, here we go.
Kelly, we've been talking about music tonight.
Yes.
And you've worked with a lot of touring professionals, a lot of A-list acts.
Yes.
Who has been the most challenging to work with, and why? Firehouse.
They're a very demanding band, and rightly so. They're very perfect, very, very great. Every performance I've had of them, they'd put on a great show.
Is this the Firehouse from the early 90s? Because I have one of their albums.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, late 80s for sure. I have a Firehouse album, and it slaps. I mean, it holds up.
Yes.
And that's,
There was a Tulsa band named Firehouse,
and-
too, and they got a cease and desist letter. Had to change their name.
Also, a band called Slayer got the same.
Oh, really? Huh. Son of a gun. Well,
That's history right there.
I wonder how they're dealing with the like the Subway with the sub sandwich place. You know, Firehouse. And you're like, God damn it, those are our sandwiches. And it's like, well,
I bet you there was a lawsuit somewhere.
we're firemen, so we'll come over here.
you know, there's some people out
we'll
on the
fucking
East Coast
put
that
shit
are
in
trying
the
to do their
truck
own
for you.
Whataburger. There's an East Coast Whataburger with the same colors, same letters, everything.
Yeah, it's a national chain, Oscar.
No. These are outside of the chain. And
What?
they're trying to hone in on the Texas-Oklahoma thing we have here called Whataburger. And
Like,
it's
this
they didn't
will
even bother
not
to
stand.
change the spelling. Nothing.
This
I mean,
will not stand.
I don't like it either.
Because I'll tell you, I would put Whataburger's fries pretty much on the top of my list.
Yeah. What do you
I
think
mean-
about fries, Kelly?
Love fries.
McDonald's, Burger King. What are you going with?
Brahms.
Brahms.
Wow.
Brahms fries.
He's
There
go-
it is.
He's going with them Crinklemeisters, ladies and gentlemen. He
Brahms has got the best fries, I think.
when Brahms do it right, they are. And let me tell you why that is. Because Brahms management demands that the grease gets dropped in them fryers every third day, and they're religious about it. And a lot of restaurants, well, so is McDonald's, but a lot of other restaurants will not drop grease. And let me tell you, the one that's the worst is, it starts with T, and the second letter is B in the second word, and they make Mexican food. They won't, yeah, they'll leave grease in a fryer for a week.
Ugh, no.
Yeah, it's bad. You know when you get the thing of chips, and they're like, oh,
Yep.
yeah.
This message brought to you by Taco Bueno.
Hey, that's a T and a B. Come on. Okay, we're just cutting up here on the show tonight, folks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we are, but you know it's the first night in the new studio.
Oh, hey, I have something for us.
Oh, yeah?
We
What's
almost
that?
forgot. So you guys have been kind of keeping up with the news lately, hopefully.
Well, kind of,
Kinda.
yeah.
And I know there's been a lot going on in the news,
Yes, there has.
but Elon Musk just landed a 23-story rocket. Mr. Rubin, have you seen that footage?
I did.
All right. I would like to play that footage now for these guys.
Can you play
All right.
Can you play that beautiful bean footage?
Yeah, let's check this out. This is a 23-story rocket. He basically parallel parked a 23-story building.
He himself, Elon
His
Musk,
team,
is-
his
oh, his
team.
team.
He and his team.
Because I heard that he was a nut.
Well,
I heard he's a South
you
African.
need to be careful who you listen to. Okay, play that footage, Mr.
Hey, we're
Rubin.
waiting for the footage. I'm not seeing the footage. Can I please see the footage? Could you please? Please. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't it.
That was the penis film.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't have this one labeled.
It's all right.
my God. Ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by the Stream Deck. Oh, my God.
All right, check this out.
Look at that. No, that's special effects.
No, it's not.
It's backwards. It's just... That is incredible. Oh, what was that little
Play that
sound?
again. Play that again. One more time.
Play one
for
more
us.
time. Just one more time.
One more time.
Please,
Now watch
one more
this.
time.
Watch how this rocket comes in. Look at this.
I'm just watching it. I'm watching it. You know what they're doing? They're landing that rocket.
Interestingly enough, there's no point on the SpaceX rocket because it doesn't really do anything.
The hell with Dexter, the hell with the mojo,
Yeah. Well, that's really something, Oscar.
There was no point on that rocket.
That's right, because it was
SpaceX and its
it
engineers
was just the booster
have
landing.
discovered that, well, even on the rockets they send out into space, it doesn't necessarily have to have a point. They can send a blunt object up there.
Well, yeah, but the drag coefficient must be murder. I mean, when you're trying every ounce that you're thrusting off,
They put points on them to appease the public.
Why do they paint them then?
Well,
they don't need
I
to be
don't know.
painted. Well, that's just waste.
I don't know, but they can parallel park land.
Why do they put rocket engines in them? That's just money. Yeah. Just get your
We
anti-gravity device and
We truly are living in amazing times. I
We
mean,
are.
the thought of just being able to land one of those and catch it was beyond me. I didn't think we could do that. I didn't think we were ever going to see that. I knew we'd be recovering them from the ocean probably until I was gone. I didn't ever think that I would live in a time where not only, does your phone answer every single question there is on Earth, but also we're parallel parking 23-story rockets back from space. And I got to tell you, things are looking up.
well, that's one way of looking at it, Oscar. I'll tell you.
I want my flying car.
Where's the fucking flying car?
Before I
See,
die, I want my flying
see,
car.
those of us are a little older than you. We had some promises.
That's right.
The goddamn Jetsons were.
Jetpacks. We were promised jetpacks.
The Jetsons were writing checks they couldn't cash. Well, it's okay because, quite frankly, I'm happy with what I got. I'm playing music. I'm living a life. I've survived at least being under general anesthesia 3 times, so I'm doing pretty good.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a win
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
But
I've survived it once.
oh yeah, what were you in for?
Eye surgery.
Ooh. Was it a helpful eye surgery or was it a repair? Like my eye is dangling out. And
I had a detached retina.
yeah.
Because I am above 6 feet tall, and they don't make shit
That's
for
right.
people less tall.
And
as
I'm
tall.
Here's another weird thing. I've known at least 2 other drummers that once past about 60 had a detached retina.
This happened when I was in my 30s.
Oh, but you were still drumming.
Just starting. I played music in school as a kid, and then got married, had kids, and didn't do anything for 10 years.
Wow.
How many kids you got, Kelly?
I have 2 kids.
All right.
6 grandkids.
Holy
Holy
moly.
moly. Well, gray hairs are paid for then. That's
You earned
That's
every one of them.
yeah.
Sadly, I didn't earn them from my kids. I earned them from the job I had at the time.
Well, yeah. But you pushed that part of your life through first, and then once everything was kind of off and going, then you were able to come back and pick up where you left off.
Well, actually, I started drumming at that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, you just one day you woke up and said, you know what? I feel like being stupid. Give me some drumsticks.
I always had the desire, just not the time or the money.
Right, yeah.
Mainly more the time.
Really?
Kids take a lot of time to.
But you do know you have to be born a drummer. You can't just so you've always had it there.
Yep.
But you just never really dug in.
Yep.
That's very interesting because when I was a little kid, I was banging on the bottom of trash cans and stuff at 4 years of age. And so, God bless my parents. God bless you. They bought me a snare drum and said, well, here, if you're going to do that, do this. And
I remember having a snare drum as a toddler to smack around on.
yeah.
And then, grade school, I played cornet, played flute, tried to play guitar, never got that very well.
And if that band teacher just put you on drums, damn it.
Yeah, they've been great.
Yeah, it would have. Well, but see, that's part of the thing, is it's a tough instrument to break in on. When I was young, I remember being told that, we don't let kids play drums in band until 7th grade. And my mother's like, well, why? He's already had a couple of years of lessons. I'm like, well, we just don't do it. The teachers would quit. You can't have a drummer kid. No, my mom didn't get it. Now that I know how drummers are, I thoroughly understand. Now, you mentioned some little kid.
We're a different breed, man. We are a different breed.
Well, it is. And
This is true. Never let a drummer drive, ever. Just don't do that.
Well,
Don't do it.
Especially after the gig.
Especially after the gig. They will just assume that it's a kick pedal, and you will wind up pulled over on the side of the highway.
it's true.
Some more of my history. I've actually worked in some facsimile at Rocklahoma every
Oh,
year
okay.
since it started.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a gig
The last
out there.
last number of years I was working Doug's stage,
Yeah.
B&B concert stage.
Nice.
And,
Nice. That event gets bigger and bigger every year.
It's compared to others. I think it's really nice comparison.
Yeah.
There's some things we get here that you don't get in other big festivals.
Right, right.
Just go on ye old internet and look at all the horrible ones.
Yes.
Like there's this one that it was a metal show that was kind of up east coast, and they just pretty much just abandoned everybody out in the woods, and there really wasn't a show, and the bands were like, we're not getting paid, we're not playing. And then when the bands realized that the audience was getting ripped off, they took their acoustic guitars and went down to the parking lot and just got up on top of someone's truck and started playing for everybody. And of course the promoters were pissed off about that, but they were so busy getting out with the money. It's a weird thing. We've some of our Tulsa Sound Podcast friends run Bushy Head, and so they came on and shared with us last year what the 22 event was like, and it's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's more
Just doing the production side of a festival
God.
is astronomical.
Yeah.
You got to be built for it too. I'm convinced of that. I mean, there's a certain breed of sound engineer that's cut out to work a music festival. Others are not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just too much pressure, too
You
much
got to
time.
be on your feet. You got to be quick.
You got to be quick. You got to be a statesman. You got to be able to work with everybody, command control of that deck from start to finish.
Yeah.
And that can be from 11 in the morning till 1 in the morning, and it's you.
Well,
And you're the authority there. And the thing is that
but I draw the line at monitors. I will not. No.
not everyone is cut out for it. And
I actually enjoyed being a monitor guy.
yeah, I did too.
It's a different set of skills, and
Yeah,
it's,
you're more of a short order cook as a monitor guy. No onions with cheese. You know,
I
it's
think
really
if
how
I
I
had
broke it
the
down.
opportunity now to do it, and I had in-ears that I could bust and listen to everyone's mix, it'd be better. But when you're trying to kind of imagine what they're hearing out there by this monitor down here, it's probably not what they're listening to anyway, because it's just their location on the stage. But
and normally, if the wedge is on stage, you have the exact same thing they have.
well, but you're right. But they're standing in front of the amplifier wave face.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot
That's-
of things. There's a lot of differences out there.
Agreed.
When I first started using in-ears, that's the first thing that I really loved about them was, as a musician now, I can really listen to the mix without listening to the room. And not that that's a
Agreed.
bad thing, but it can be distractive. And yet on the other side, using in-ears made me feel like I was an alien to my band members, and that I just and these guys will notice this too. When I got my earplugs in, I'll just sit back and I just get real quiet and won't talk.
Yeah, you're a lot less engaging with those in-ears. I kind of say, I got to say, I don't like it. I like you with the headphones.
Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen.
That, and we don't have to fish them out of your ears with a toothpick at
Well,
the
that
end of
is
the gig.
true.
I enjoy in-ears myself, and I enjoy having my whole drum kit here
Yeah. Well,
at a volume that I don't have to.
mine are getting so
Get over
old that
my own self.
I've lost my earplug now for three times. Go to pull it out, it leaves part of the plug inside, and so we've got a whole thing. First time it
He
happened on an
freaks out. He
airplane.
freaks out.
Well, wouldn't you?
Heck yeah!
All I can see is $500 coming out of my pocket and going to pay for some doctor's BMW.
We got a flashlight and a Gerber. We'll fix you up. We'll get that thing
We
out
got
of
it
here.
out of there. I got a technique now. I got that old thing in there, cranking around. But
That is the nature of that animal for sure.
yeah,
Sometimes.
well, in some forms of rock, there'd just be no way that you could perform it every night. I know that I was kind of one of the things that sort of amazed me was with. Now, I'm going to say this word. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. Nickelback, how powerful their drummer is, and yet how quiet their on-stage level is.
Yes.
That they've got this perfect balance up there, and he's on a little taller riser than some bands. And I'm just wondering if that's part of that magic, is getting him up off the deck a little bit more.
It's getting all the brass above
Yeah.
the vocal microphones down on the stage.
But man, he was like Stuart Copeland, just a monster with the power that he was bringing to the kid. And I know that a lot of people don't like Nickelback, but
they're doing what they do and they do it well.
sure. And
if you're bitching about them, that means that you're jealous.
they made it, I hate to say. And, you know, not every band gets to write a song about beating up a guy in the emergency room, so that's my kind of rock and talk. But Oscar, what you got up here on the machine here in front of us?
Well, you know, here in Oklahoma, we have quirky laws.
That's right. Well, this is the Outlaw Show,
And this is the Outlaw segment of the show, and I've compiled a quirky list of odd and outdated laws that have been noted in Oklahoma.
oh, these I want to hear.
So the first one is, Kelly, did you know that it is illegal to wear your boots to bed in the state of Oklahoma?
I think I did remember that.
Yeah.
You'd better, mister.
That's why my boots sit at the edge of the bed.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. You cannot walk backwards, Mr. Eric, while eating a hamburger in downtown Oklahoma City.
You know, I'd go as far as to say that I just won't go to Oklahoma City then, because I have a hankering to walk backwards down one of them streets with a Whataburger in my mouth, or as it would be there.
Guataburger.
No, wait, I'm backing her up. Yeah, I'm trying to say it backwards, get it. Never mind.
Okay.
Moving on.
So in Winona, Oklahoma, it is unlawful to wash your clothes in a bird bath,
But what
Mr.
about-
Rubin.
What about your brown beaver? Can you wash it out there?
Winona's brown beaver may be washed in a bird bath, yes. But as far as washing your clothes, that is illegal in a bird bath.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to Winona Ryder, please. Yeah. Okay, I'll wait. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we got some other quirky laws here. It is illegal to hunt whales in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, thank God for
It's
that.
actually a law that we have on the books.
Dude,
It is illegal to
I
hunt
like
whales.
number 4 here. This is hot.
Number 4 is you are prohibited from having the hind legs of farm animals tucked into your boots.
Now,
And apparently this was such a problem,
you know,
they had to make a law.
Damn sheep farmers.
those
Oh, my
damn
God.
sheep farmers and those ugly little kids they've got. Get them dogs out of here, boy.
You can't wear New York Jets clothing in Ada.
What?
It's illegal.
Well, that,
You cannot do it.
ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to have a Tulsa Sound Podcast road trip dressed up fully in nothing other than New York Jets
You're not
regalia,
going to catch me in that stuff.
proud up and down there in Ada. Say, Gator, come out here. I got the Jets for you, baby.
So in addition to it being illegal to hunt whales in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
in Tulsa, you need a special permit if you want to carry a fishbowl in public. You need a special license and a special permit to carry a fishbowl in public.
I think that would be another fun thing for us to do is go down to City Hall and apply for that permit.
I think you got a good
I
idea.
need to carry my fishbowl.
Did you know that it is illegal to eavesdrop on someone's conversation?
Well, that
It's
stands
actually
to
a
reason.
law. It's actually a law.
That stands to reason. They call that the Coney
Why are they not
Islander law.
enforcing that law?
You know, in Schulter, Oklahoma, women can't gamble in their lingerie.
Oh, crap.
Now, them gals can get together and play poker.
Well, that doesn't do much
And they
good
can
down
get
there
together
for
and play
the
craps, but they can't do it in their skivvies.
for the
Some things
Thousand
are
Oaks-
just too far.
Thousand Oaks Casino is just not a very exciting place there, is it?
But it's true. And
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of our sponsors, Thousand Oaks Casino, located in Schulter, Oklahoma. You don't want to get down there. You want to get down
where
there.
women can gamble, just not in their
Not in
lingerie.
their lingerie. So you're not going to be seeing any sexy gambling down
Now,
there.
here's one I thought you'd like, Mr. Eric.
Okay.
It says here that you cannot open a soda bottle without the supervision of a licensed engineer.
Well,
It's too dangerous. Too dangerous. We'll have to call in the rock and roll wizard to help you with that.
I'm not going to go.
It is against the law to read someone's palms in the city of Ada.
There's that Ada then. So my guess
Something
is
going on in Ada.
there must be some New York Jets fan there. It's like a gypsy, and Wait, am I allowed to say that word anymore?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
all
an
right.
ethnic variety. Sure, you can say it.
Okay, gypsy, and they palm reading gypsy.
So did you know that in Clinton, Oklahoma, it's illegal to molest an automobile?
Autoerotica.
There's an autoerotica joke in there somewhere. We'll find it.
Hello. Somebody step on the gas,
It's
baby.
illegal to molest. It is illegal to molest your car in Clinton, Oklahoma.
Well, thank God those folks in Clinton have got some things figured out down there. They got some.
So
things
we
figured
discussed this one. You cannot wear New York Jets clothing in Ada.
out. That's right. We
Can't do
discussed
it.
that. Nope.
And it's illegal to make an ugly face at a dog, which I support.
Yeah.
By God,
Yeah,
let me
for
catch
that
you making an ugly face
But
at
what
a
about
dog.
the dog and the dog making an ugly face at you?
Well, if the dog looks like my ex-wife, the face is naturally occurring, and you can't help it. Let's see. So on top of it being illegal,
Boy, there's one to keep a taxi business in business there. Number 17.
what's 17 in Tulsa? If you are arrested in public for public intoxication, you are entitled to a free ride home in a police car.
Absolutely. Hey, officer.
Now I don't know
I
if I would try
I
that.
live in Spark,
You're not taking you home.
North Hurley.
In fact, my brother once got arrested in his youth and then
Uh-oh.
complained to the cops after they kicked him out of the police station. He goes, "You motherfuckers brought me down here. You guys take me home." They promptly beat his ass, rearrested him, and put him back in jail.
Oh,
So I don't know if you get arrested that you should bring up the fact
I
that
think
they
you
are
just wanna-
obligated to bring you home.
well, say, "Hey, you motherfuckers, can you bring me home, please?"
It is unlawful, Mr. Eric and Kelly. It is unlawful to take a bite out of another person's hamburger.
Well, I would say so.
Man, that's a second hamburger law.
I would say so, because there's a lot of boyfriends out there to girlfriend.
Can we just have one bite?
Why don't you get one of your own?
I was hungry, damn hungry.
It's like, okay, here, and then, well, you know how
It's
that
illegal.
is.
What should the punishment be
I'll just
for
go
a
get
person
just go get my own.
takes a bite out of another's hamburger? What do you think?
I'd give him 30 days in the electric chair.
Bailiff, whack his pee-pee. If you wear a hat while dancing, you could face legal trouble.
Oh, why's that?
Well, we don't want you hat-wearing Baptists to get too excited out there on the dance floor.
Oh, you know what it leads to.
But you could face legal trouble for wearing a hat while dancing.
Well, I guess that, gentlemen should be taking their hats off out there.
It is illegal, gentlemen, to have a sleeping donkey in your bathtub after 7 p.m.
Oh, shit.
Now, 6:45, 6:50,
I'm going to have to get, man.
you're fine.
And damn
You're
you.
fine.
Old Ruth.
But if it comes up 7 o'clock and you got a sleeping donkey in that tub, illegal.
Ruth, get out of the tub.
Illegal. And apparently there was a large problem with donkeys sleeping in tubs after 7 p.m.
Well, you know it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the law, right? After all, it is what plants want.
So whaling is illegal statewide. Again,
Yeah.
no whales around at all, but it is still illegal to
Well,
whale
there's the blue whale.
in Oklahoma.
And, so you can't go down and, of course, I doubt you couldn't get much whale meat out of that thing. It's made out of concrete.
Do you know the guy that started the blue whale used to be a former zookeeper at the Tulsa Zoo?
No
And
kidding.
when he retired, he took all of his animals out to where the blue whale is now, and he used to be a roadside zoo.
He worked for Mr. Zing?
He took his alligators, he took a bunch of stuff out there, and it originally started out as a roadside zoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. A blue whale. So when that fishing hole there, that's where he kept the alligators? So when you go down the slide?
Well, he had lots of animals. He had big cats. He had all kinds of stuff.
So you get to like a 007 thing going out there?
He had all kinds of animals.
He just
Yeah.
amazing. Just amazing.
You know, Eric, you were telling me that story about how back in the old days, the Tulsa Zoo would collect your pets.
Not pets.
Okay.
Horses and
Horses.
cattle. During the Depression, there was so little money to run the zoo that they had to basically they would buy your tired horses and cattle, and they would for meat for the wild cats. and the bears, I guess, too. But they couldn't get rid of the cats. It was a depression. Nobody wanted a bunch of lions, so they had their own entrance to the zoo where you would bring the animals up, and they had a slaughterhouse out there and a guy that did it. And
At the Tulsa Zoo.
yeah, of course, now you can still get butchers to come right to your farm and butcher your stock right there on your property, which is a very popular thing these days. These guys have these really cool trucks that are completely outfitted with everything.
Oh,
they
with
need.
a freezer on it and everything.
Well,
yeah, I've seen those.
it's really quite the thing. So that's an Oklahoma tradition of eating our animals, because by God, that's what they're here for. And we got one more, and then we're going to go to a break.
So in Bartlesville,
that's
it
north
is
of here.
illegal to own a bathtub with a detachable chain.
Oh, hell. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
That's right.
Well, we can't have those.
You cannot have a bathtub in Bartlesville with a detachable chain.
I'm sure at some
What are
point
those people thinking?
Somebody's chain must have went down and it got caught in a pump, and backed up all the water, and then a big mess.
In the state of Oklahoma, Mr. Eric,
yeah,
you may not promote a horse tripping event.
Now, I've got to stop and think about this for a second. That either means we could not promote an event where horses are tripped, or we could not do a concert where horses are like tripping.
I say both. I say both. They're probably
all you horses out
highly
there,
illegal.
There's going to be a horse, or maybe a horse that looks just like you, but it's not like you. And if he gives you something, just don't take it. Just don't take it. Grand Funk Railroad, 1970. Ladies and gentlemen, Grand Funk Railroad.
That's right. Grand Funk happened, and we all let it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're
Never
going to be
forget.
back here in just a couple of seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with our final close-up segments and rocking out with you tonight. So please stay tuned.
Stay
We
right
are
there.
the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
This is the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Hit subscribe. Hit like. Hit subscribe. Hit Little Leon.
I traded Levi's for a business suit, even my boots and spurs. Now I'm all roped and tied, and everything I own is hers. All you boys in all your world, take a tip from me. If you like the life you live, then leave the women be.
Oh, excuse me, Ricky. Ricky, I did see what you were doing. It felt good, didn't it? It's all right. We all have feelings like this sometimes. I'm just glad you're doing this in the privacy of your own room. When you're a little bit older, we'll have to talk more about these feelings and what causes them and how we can control these feelings. I'm sorry I intruded on your privacy. I'll be sure to knock next time, okay?
This manner of response frees the child of guilt and assures him he is normal. It opens communication between parent and child and introduces the concept of responsibility for his behavior.
And we're back at the Tulsa Sound
And we are
Podcast.
back with our special guest,
Kelly,
Mr. Kelly Endsley.
Thank you so much for being here tonight, man.
Thanks for the
And
invitation. This was fun.
I'll tell you, I also hope that you've been watching our DEI presentations as we've gone through the evening, because we will have to have you sign a certificate saying that you are DEI certified and to be here, because certain people, Ruben, and I'm not naming any names, Ruben Frisbee, have complained to HR that we've been like. We've been mean. We've been hurting his feelings, and of course, we don't want to do that. So that's why we're going through this DEI training right now.
Oh, I just got a message from HR in response to Ruben's complaint.
Yes, what's it say?
Here it says, "Toughen up, pussy."
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he went there. He went there.
So tonight on the show, me and Eric and Kelly have been talking about some strange and unusual laws here in the state of Oklahoma, and we've made our way down the list now to here's another funny one.
Lay it on me, baby.
It is against the law to injure a football goalpost in the state of Oklahoma.
So,
we will lock your ass up if you come messing with the goddamn goalpost now.
Yeah. Your Honor, I would like to call. The victim to the stand. Is it true that you are a piece of wood? You know what, Oscar? I've heard it's illegal to wrestle bear in Oklahoma. Is that true?
Well, no, not in a sanctioned bear fighting event.
Thank God, because I want to tell you about our next sponsor. We got Bear Fest 2025 coming up here for news. And that's sponsored by our number one sponsor, which is, and you should know who this is, Santeria, man. Santeria Smoke Shop, located on 1441 Charles Page Boulevard, Old Road, Highway 66. It's got all the smoke. It's got all the voodoo. It's got everything you need to worship Santeria. Santeria Smoke Shop. Okay.
All right, making sure I don't burn in hell.
We love those guys. They've been our number one sponsor over our entire 2.5 year journey here, and they believed in us, man.
So in Schuler, Oklahoma, it is illegal for a car to drive down a road without a driver.
What?
No, that's illegal.
That's preposterous. That's a preposterous law. Why does a car need a driver?
I wonder how many times that happened before they locked down on that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably somewhere. Okay, and
there must be some drummers in that town.
It says you may not spit on a side. You may not spit on a sidewalk in Poto, Oklahoma.
Well, you couldn't spit.
Or Tulsa.
Or in Tulsa. Now, that law has some basis in reality. And back during the 1930s, there was a really bad tuberculosis outbreak in the Midwest. And spitting on a sidewalk, when a lot of people still walked around barefoot.
Yeah, and mouth tobacco was common back then.
Yeah, it's a nasty thing, and I'd say it's high time, but we get that. Just say no to spitting on a sidewalk. Just say no.
It says here that it's illegal to wrestle bears in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I heard that.
And in Oklahoma City, you may not tip over a casket at a funeral.
Oh,
because that's how Chet Elderson was pantsed.
Boom.
It's illegal to wear a hat that obscures people's views in a theater.
Well, thank God for that. I got to support that one.
I got to support that one.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Surely some good movies have been missed because of big hats.
In the state of Oklahoma, you cannot use profanity during a game of bingo.
31.
It's illegal. Yeah. It's illegal. Don't even try it.
I'd like to see them stop me.
They'll run your ass out of the Cherokee Casino for that. 4-letter word over there.
I'll give you $10 for a vowel.
And it says in Tulsa, it's illegal to take a bite out of another person's hamburger.
Yeah, you said that one before.
I support that.
Yeah. It came back up again.
Look.
Wow.
They're
serious about it.
That's right.
Yeah, AI.
So it's a state law and a Tulsa law.
Well, that's good then, because we're covered both ways. As soon as Tulsa becomes a part of a new state, which is known as actually, I did find out something a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
That there was a point in time before Oklahoma became an official state that Northeast Oklahoma was going to be a state called Sequoia.
Really?
Yes, and it was primarily made up of the Creek, Cherokee, tribal lands. And then there was a big push to, let's go ahead and have just one state. Let's not break it up because it'll be confusing, and people in Arkansas, they won't know what to do. And so that decision was made. But yeah, Northeast Oklahoma, which, and it's really interesting to see the line that they chose, but it just literally runs, well, green country, I guess you could say, was it, and ran all the way down to Salisaw, but didn't run all the way down to Red River. But yeah, we almost had our own state here, and then somebody blew it, and now It's Oklahoma for everybody. But I've often wondered if that's, on Gunsmoke when they say, he was down in Oklahoma or he was in the territories, if they mean the guy was in western Oklahoma, which would have been kind of Mexico at the time, or if he was in the Indian territories. And if they thought about it as two different places. I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know.
I'm asking. Well, if anybody out there knows, you want to give us a call. It's 1-800-225-5225. 1-800-525-1221.
Yes, and you can call that number for your whale hunting license in Oklahoma.
We've got a whale hunting license available. We're going to have a fishbowl license form available.
In case you want to walk around downtown Tulsa with a fishbowl.
Yeah, we're also going to have our DEI
you will need
acceptance charts. Each one of you will now need to sign now that you've been through the program. And we're just going to have a lot of great things.
Kelly, where's your band playing at?
We're going to play at Badass Renee's on December 21st.
All right.
December
Guys,
21st.
go on out to Badass Renee's December 21st.
That's the shortest day of the year.
Is it?
Yes, it is. That's the winter equinox.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be a long night.
Winter equinox.
A long night of rock.
Bad Things
That's all I
Band.
got.
Go out and see Bad Things.
Bad Things.
No, I forget.
I forget.
Oh,
Bad
I
Things
Forget.
was his old band. I forget
Yes.
I forget. What an incredible band name. I mean,
Yes.
say, what's your band name, man?
I forget.
I forget. That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, band names are fun, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I've got the band name, but we've got now. I was very lucky that we was able to talk my fellow band members into it. It's the Sass Tones. I have to shameless plug Sass Tones, ladies and
Shameless
gentlemen.
plug.
And
Ruben, you got any plugs?
I do not.
my grandmother used to say that. She's like, "Don't give me that sass tone," and so that one just kind of stuck. But
Good name.
well, it's fun. It's
clever.
fun. It's clever. There was a guy a punk rocker in England who started using it too, but then he kind of exploded. He was very popular and then went away. And we're like, yeah, we won. We won the name war, just simply by outliving that English punk rocker. Queen Z in the Sass Tone.
Oh, what a horrible name.
Yeah, and Queen Z, and then there was a lady rapper in Detroit named Queen Z, and she was actually very vocal about this guy appropriating her name, and she was like, "I'll come over and get you." And so I think the guy just got scared. We didn't have to threaten him. We figured, well, we'll sick her on him, and then everything will be all right. We'll work it out. But well, that's cool.
Let's ask Kelly the ubiquitous question,
Okay.
Mr. Eric,
All
before
right.
we wrap up the episode.
Yes. So the ubiquitous question that we always ask here on the Tulsa Sound Podcast is this: what does the Tulsa Sound mean to you personally?
And there's no right or wrong answer.
Honest about the way you play the songs, the way the tone is.
Yeah.
Just being yourself.
It's very cool. We get a lot of different answers. Some folks equate it to a sound, and they'll describe, it's a sloppy shuffle, but and other folks like myself, I think it's an attitude, and it's also there is a little bit of swagger to it. But everybody has a different and unique look at it. A lot of folks, kind of apply it to what we call the classic Tulsa sound, but there are so many Tulsa sounds. Just to go after red dirt and blues and R&B is a very small way of looking at it. You're here, you're representing all metal tonight in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He's representing the metalheads.
That's right.
And, for many years I was the punk rock new wave guy. And that was a little scene that really popped out, yet was a very much, when I listen to these bands, go back and listen to like the Explosive album, I hear that same Tulsa sound element that you could hear in a Jim Byfield album in those bands. You can hear it. It's almost like a mix in a way. It's almost a mix, especially in a recorded music, that there's just this certain, maybe it's the flavor of electricity we got here. It's that good Keystone electricity we got coming down them wires. But there's something about it. And so we always ask that question because we, of course, are interested to know. And we think it's really cool that you're able to do your gig, being an audio guy and also support and be in a band and live both sides of that, to be on both sides of the mirror, so to speak.
I've enjoyed both sides immensely over the years.
Yeah, I'd rather be playing than mixing, to be honest with you, but that's just because I'm a audience whore. I get a little tired of looking at the back of their heads every once in a while. I want to see their smiling faces. But, I'm always trying to talk Oscar into becoming a blues singer. He's got the look. He smokes cigars. He surely is as talented as John Belushi was. And look, he's one of the greatest blues singers of our age. But we're so glad you came on tonight.
Yeah, Kelly, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, because we're here in the studio, and Frisbee was kind of worried. He's like, well, I don't know who we're going to get for a guest. And then, boom, your name came up, and we're all like, yeah, that's where we want to go.
Well, Kelly's been on a short list of people I've been wanting to get in here for a while.
Very cool.
We've talked about it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Very cool.
See you at the Cox Ballroom.
Yeah. Yes, that's that's my house.
Our home away from home.
I spent a lot of time there. I've spent a lot of time, and but that's the cool thing is we are, again, and I'm going to say it like I always say it. We're very blessed here in Tulsa that we have a great music scene. We've got great venues. We've got great places not only to see big shows but little shows. We've got a live and vibrant music retail place where musicians can actually, kind of connect together and.
We actually have a few.
Yeah. There are a lot of places in this country, and I've been to a couple of them, where it was just not nearly as nice. And we just want everybody here to know that the reason we love the Tulsa Sound is because it is us, and we see such a cool thing here. And I know that in the future, Tulsa is just going to continue to grow, new music scenes. I just literally cannot believe the popularity of everything. I think it is tonight. There was a surprise Jack White show at the Cain's Ballroom, just announced it yesterday evening. Boom, hi, surprise. And everybody's fighting for tickets. So
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a huge fight down there.
He has a house here in Tulsa.
Hundreds of people were beating each other up for the tickets out there. He went on a roof and he just threw the tickets down into a crowd. There was a woman, and they literally tore the hair off her head. But anyway, I digress.
I just wanted everyone to know that, during these trying times, I know a lot of the population's upset, but it's okay. We're going to get through this as a nation, and we're going to go forward. It's going to be a good thing.
Well, that's right, because, number one, we have absolutely no choice in the matter. But most importantly, folks, life is what you make it.
And for anybody struggling, I'm offering cuddling sessions.
That's
to
right.
Any Kamala supporter that's out there that needs a hug, and I like to call it a struggle hug.
Okay.
So reach out if you're upset about this. Oscar will cuddle you.
You know
Oscar
what?
will cuddle you.
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments about the political thing, and here I've recorded them for you. Okay, so that's about it, folks. So we want to thank you all for being with us this evening, and we want to remind you that we are the Tulsa Sound Podcast. We are
the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
We're going to be on this exciting channel right here with another session, another episode in just a couple of weeks. We've got a great Christmas thing coming up. We're not going to tell you about right now, but it's going to be great. You're going to love it. And we also want to remind each and every one of you that hit subscribe. It helps us grow this channel. It helps us be more of a Tulsa Sound Podcast, so we can get all our money back. So, folks, thank you so much.
That's right.
We love you. For Oscar Padron, for Kelly,
for
Mr. Eric,
we
want to thank you so much. And he's Oscar, and this is Little Leon, and we're taking it out.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Frisbee on production. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Join us for the next episode of Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Available on Tony TV.
All right.
That was fun.